Hey Joe fans, I'm JoeFan82 here with another action figure and vehicle review. This is the G.I. Joe Retro Cobra h.i.s.s tank from Hasbro. This is a Walmart exclusive, at least it was this year, 2020. And here he is in the package. Beautiful package. I believe this is the vintage artwork by Hector Garrido, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong, but it looks just like it. The packaging on this is excellent, very well done. This is a nice thick box, something that mint on card, mint in box collectors will want to keep for display. Here's the back, and you've got a file card. I'm not a huge fan of these file cards for the retro collection. It says roll driver, primary specialty h.i.s.s driver, secondary specialty mechanical and electrical systems, birthplace various countries. Cobra h.i.s.s drivers are selected from the best and most evil of Cobra Command's thousands of yearly recruits. Just so you guys know, I received mine from Walmart's website. This was shipped to me in a box, nicely. I mean, it's just in the box, no bubble wrap or anything, but it came through very nice, no scratches, no dents, and the box is excellent. Great job on the packaging, in my opinion. Inside the box, the vehicle is not fully assembled. You have to assemble it yourself. All the pieces are individually wrapped, and if you like putting on decals, you're in luck because you have to put the decals on yourself too. And here they are out of the box. We've got the vehicle and the figure. Vehicle is looking a lot like the vintage V1 vehicle from 1983. Let's put the figure aside for now and we'll focus on the h.i.s.s tank. The h.i.s.s tank is arguably Cobra's most iconic vehicle, at least land vehicle, and Hasbro wisely chose it to include in their retro collection. And I'm really liking that. This is my first time owning a vintage one style black h.i.s.s tank, and I think it looks awesome. I am not a huge fan of putting on the decals because I'm a bit of a perfectionist and they tend to go a little askew when I'm putting them on, but I think I did an okay job here. The decals really bring the vehicle to life. If you don't have them on there, it looks just kind of plain and looks cheaper than it actually is. But this is, from what I can tell, this is the exact same product that you would have gotten if you bought it off the shelf in 1983. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments if you know otherwise, but it looks exactly the same to me. Some of the decals might be in different places. I followed the instructions that are included in the box. You might notice those are a little bit different than the artwork on the box. The decals are in a little bit different places. The cannons on the top do move up and down, and it rolls on a couple of wheels below the treads. That's one improvement I would make, is that make the treads actually real, the real treads on here instead of wheels. But other than that, it's really looking nice. And this comes off, this gun turret comes off, and it's hollow inside. You can store whatever you want in there, some other weapons or whatever. Not really meant for storage. But the canopy does open. It's a clear plastic, and some really nice detail there in the driver's seat. Nicely sculpted interior, and the canopy is a pretty thick plastic. It's not as flimsy as I was expecting, and it locks in pretty tightly. Here's another shot of that, the detail inside. Really nice detail inside, and the decals really pop when you've got the bright red of the Cobra logo against the matte black of the h.i.s.s tank. And here is the figure that came with the set. This is the h.i.s.s tank driver, inspired by the vintage h.i.s.s tank driver figure. They did a great job of replicating that look. We've seen this figure before in the modern line, and I've got to say that this figure is an improvement in quality over the previous releases. The plastic, I believe, is better. It's a little heavier, a little stronger, so you might want to consider updating your Cobra h.i.s.s driver with this figure. got a bright red uniform with a silver visor on the helmet and a touch of black over the mouth. Some nice detail in the sculpt. I believe that we've seen all these parts before, but nicely sculpted, and he's got that bit of armor there over his torso. Mine is off a little bit with the paint apps. The purple and the silver Cobra logo looks a little bit askew. The Cobra logo, while sharp on the outside, on the inside the lines look a little smudged, not as sharp as I think they could and should be. But from a distance looks okay. From outside the h.i.s.s tank, I'm sure he'll look fine. Here's a look at the bottom half. He's got these great boots. These are not skin tight leather like we would see on the Baroness, but rather they look like black armored boots. I'm guessing he would need these in the h.i.s.s tank in case there was some kind of mechanical failure, a fire or something, and needed that extra layer of protection for his legs. He comes with one accessory, a figure stand, nicely sculpted on the top with the Cobra logo. However, it says Cobra Trooper on the front instead of h.i.s.s tank driver. Not sure why, but it's a little bit of an oversight on Hasbro's part. But I'm willing to forgive it because odds are my figure is going to be in the tank most of the time, and I'm probably not going to be using the figure stand anyway. First up, he does look good in the cannon seat, the gunner's seat on the top of the tank. Looks like he fits in quite well there, but really he's supposed to be here in the driver's seat. Looks awesome, fits in well. Was not sure if he would work, but he does. Canopy closes, fits in fine, gun can go in place. And if you want to stick to what we see on the box art, you can put a Cobra Trooper there in the back. Here's a little comparison with the only other h.i.s.s tank I currently have is the 2015 version that was released with the Silent Strike set. It is orange, so quite a bit different from the V1 version we have from the retro collection. This one, the orange one, has much different cannons on the top, much thicker gray, and much smaller version here on the retro side. While I'm not a hater on the orange one, I have to say I like the black one better. Here's the tank with a 25th anniversary Cobra Stinger. I think these vehicles match up nicely together with similar color schemes. Speaking of similar color schemes, I think the Iron Grenadier actually goes well with the h.i.s.s tank. I know he's not technically a Cobra, but I still think he looks pretty good with it. The rear of the tank features 2 foot pegs for figures to go on. Unfortunately, they are too small for modern figures to really fit well. They just kind of lean off, and I was able to get my Viper to stay on okay if I put them on both pegs, and 25th anniversary Cobra Trooper fits on really well, but the other 5 or 6 figures I tried didn't really fit at all. So you might have to go through a little trial and error to find figures that will fit. Not sure what Hasbro was thinking there with changing the size of the foot pegs. And in case you were wondering, let's try a vintage figure. This is a Techno Viper, and let's see if he'll go on there. Nope. The foot pegs are way too small for a vintage figure. Unfortunately, he won't stay on there at all. Good news though, he will fit in the gunner seat on the top. The vehicle also loses a couple points for not being compatible with the new 6-inch line of classified figures. Despite a few shortcomings, I'd have to say this is a must-buy for me, especially because I did not have a vintage style V1 black Cobra h.i.s.s tank, and the packaging is awesome. The figure is really good, and I think an improvement over the previous releases that we've seen. Guys, that was my look at the retro collection h.i.s.s tank and h.i.s.s tank driver. Let me know what you think about these guys in the comments below. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.